Hi everyone, a bit of a serious one this afternoon. We've had some incidents this summer in the sport relating to speed bar setup and accidents happening or incidents happening where pilots who've removed their Brummel hooks from the speed bar system have dragged the lines through pulleys. This leaves the glider in an accelerated state on takeoff, and the force of the wing and the leading edge pulling against the jammed knots is not sufficient to pull it back through the pulley. Of course, with modern wings, especially the two-liners and any reflex wings, if you then touch the brakes, it's likely to induce a collapse, which obviously exacerbates the problem straight after takeoff, close to the ground. And of course, the pilot wouldn't even think to look and see that the speed bar lines have been pulled through. So this is how typically we've been rigging speed bar lines for some time. We remove the Brummel hooks, and imagine the grey line is coming off the top pulley of the wing. We can just put a knot in the yellow line that comes off the harness, and then you can pull it through the top pulley and you've got rid of the Brummel hooks. I'd still recommend getting rid of the Brummel hooks because they snag lines. They have a habit of coming undone as well, often at inopportune moments on windy days, and they do tend to catch micro lines. That said, with this findings that pilots are sometimes stepping on lines during stepping on the speed bar whilst getting in and out of the harnesses, we need to find a solution to mitigate for that and prevent these lines getting pulled into the pulley. So imagine that this is our speed bar pulley inside the harness. What tends to happen is the pilot is probably leaving their leg straps and their waist strap done up on their harness and then getting into the harness in a sort of climbing harness configuration. This is then getting pulled through accidentally. Of course, it's quite forceful with my hands, but with my feet it would be dead easy. I probably wouldn't even notice. And then of course it just gets jammed. Now of course I can pull that back through, sometimes with some force, sometimes not with much force required. You might get lucky, you might not. Now some harnesses are fitted with either springers, like little much smaller pulleys like this, where the problem isn't possible. So you just cannot pull that through because the knot's too big. Or a Woody Valley harness I was working on today had big eyelets that you simply can't pull the line through. And the Bogdan harnesses that we sell have a tiny little eyelet that's not much thicker diameter than this. It's probably like a 4mm sewn in eyelet or pressed in eyelet that prevents this ever jamming. Of course, what it does limit also is maximum speed bar travel for some pilots on some riser configurations. And lots of harnesses still do have open sides that go straight into a pulley like this or like this. So let's have a look at a couple of ways that we can mitigate for this risk. So just undo the knot, and we'll imagine that we've got a new paraglider and we've taken the speed bar off, the Brummel hook off. And you could then use a washer, ideally something in slightly better condition than this one, and perhaps even a little smaller and with more rounded edges. You just feed that over into a lark's head, and then take the stem of the line that we were using, lock it in, and you can have the same system that we had rigged before pretty much, but with the ring. Now of course the ring, or the washer, is going to stop it jamming into the pulley, and it just can't go through. So that's good to know. The only thing with this is that metal will still rub against the inside of your harness, and it may cause wear and tear or damage over time. So I have another option I prefer, and if this is inside the harness, we have the speed bar line. We'll put one of these little duffel toggles on it. Then through the system down to your feet, and then I can put the paraglider rigged on the outside of the system. And then if we try and do the same thing, so push with your feet, the duffel toggle itself prevents the knot or the loop-to-loop or knot pulling into the pulley. Problem with this, I suppose, the duffel toggle is not designed to be smashed into something with a lot of pressure on it. Now, ideally, we shouldn't ever be standing on the speed bar. This is really a preventative thing in it if we've made a mistake during setup. So check for wear and tear on these regularly if you're going to use them. But they do have a big benefit in that you can rig them close to the pulley before takeoff. So if you're like even more proactive, you can pull some slack up, make sure that obviously the top end of your speed bar near the wing has a little bit of slack in it. And for those of us using pods, it means that the speed bar will be pulled up away from your feet and the front of the cockpit, or the front of the nose cone of the pod during takeoff, and keeps it under more tension, and it even reduces the risk then of accidentally standing on the speed bar during takeoff, which is another issue that we have with pod harnesses. These are actually quite commonly used on open harnesses, some designs, and for any open harnesses that we sell that don't have like a crisscrossed elastic system to self-retract the speed bar, we always fit these for our customers anyway above that pulley, because not for pulling knots through, but it just means the speed bar isn't dangling in an annoying place for them on takeoff. I've just recorded some clips of the problems and testing a couple of harnesses at the shop earlier today, so take a moment and watch. Any questions or other ideas, please drop them in the comments, and we'll get back to you. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.